Nice try, sport, but Clark is Superman in almost every reality. This Earth, Earth 12, Earth 50, Earth 508, Weird Earth. The works!
Hey guys, it's Spoonie, and I'm here with my review and breakdown for Episode 7 of my Adventures with Superman, titled Kiss Kiss Fallen Portal. I'll put the playlist in my description so you guys can check out the previous 6 episodes that I've covered. There will be spoilers in this episode, so this is your last chance to back out. Otherwise, here we go. This episode starts out in Smallville, where Clark has taken Lois and Jimmy to show them the ship that brought him to Earth. Now, Jimmy was freaking out over the whole thing, and Lois and Clark agree that they want to start their relationship over, but without any secrets. And this is where Clark finally asks Lois on a date.
Lois Lane, will you go on a date with me?
So Clark's been up all night planning for this date with Lois. Jimmy gets overwhelmed with the details that Clark is throwing at him, and he goes to hang out with Lois. And it turns out Lois is just as focused as Clark on their date. Clark doesn't know much about his past, and Lois wants to surprise him by finding out any little information that she can. As she and Jimmy head to the dry cleaners to pick up her dress for the date, a group of soldiers emerge from a portal in the alley. They scan Lois and confirm that she is their target. Clark is working out the logistics of the date when there's a knock at the door. It turns out that it's this show's interpretation of Mr. Mxyzptlk, who in the comics is a fifth-dimensional imp, and in this show he looks a lot like Whis from Dragon Ball Super. He claims that he's on a mission to save the multiverse. In an infinite number of realities, Clark Kent is Superman in most of them, so that's why Mixie came to him. He shows Clark an illusion of Lois being captured by the soldiers. The base has protections against Mixie, so he needs Clark's help to shut down the security. He's blinded by his concern for Lois, so Clark doesn't question any of this. Mixie's able to open a portal, and the two of them step through it. Lois and Jimmy are heading back from the dry cleaners when more soldiers emerge from a portal and confront them this time. The soldiers unmask and reveal themselves to be other versions of Lois from throughout the multiverse. They call themselves the League of Lois Lanes, and they're here because our Clark is in danger. The portal opens and Clark and Mixie appear in some kind of a museum. Mixie goads Superman into opening the door by claiming Lois is inside. Clark smashes it open, only to be attacked by a robot. Lois and Jimmy get teleported to the League's ship. The League are interdimensional peacekeepers founded by Lois Prime. This is the Earth 1 version of Lois, and she was the first person to discover and explore the multiverse. The League searches different realities looking for suitable Loises to join their ranks. The Loises are typically around 20 years old and are already award-winning journalists. Our Lois is 23, and she's only still just an intern. Jimmy starts to chat up a girl, and he finds out that she is an alternate reality version of himself named Jamila Olsen. Apparently the League also includes a number of Olsens. Our Lois learns that Mixie is a chaos god. The League disarmed him, but a portal opened to our reality, which led to the present situation. The portal he used to escape was actually the wormhole created by Monsieur Malat and the Brain during the last episode. So this whole time, he's just manipulating Clark into helping him reclaim his power. Meanwhile, we find out that the League enlisted Lois not because they consider her worthy to join them, but simply to provide a hair sample that will allow them to attune their machines to our dimensional frequency, so that this way they can track Clark and Mixie. Jimmy starts to wander around and explore the ship when one of the Loises stops him from entering a specific room that she says is off limits. She locks the door, which raises red flags with our Lois. Then we jump back to Clark and Mixie as they are exploring the museum. It's packed with items from throughout the DCU, including the Mother Box, Hawkman's mace, Alan Scott's Green Lantern, one of Mr. Terrific's T-spheres. Now this book I don't inherently recognize. It could be like the Book of Destiny. It could be one of like Tim Hunter's books of magic. I really don't know. If any of you guys recognize this, please feel free to leave a comment. The helmet of Naboo, which is Dr. Fate's helmet. Starman/Stargirl's cosmic rod. The Legion of Superheroes flight ring. A whip that I'm just going to say is Catwoman's whip. the Soul Taker sword, which is Katana's sword, the villain the Keys, key gun, Nightwing's batons. Anyways, Mixie starts to rob the museum when Clark asks where Lois is. Mixie says she's probably back on Earth. Clark realizes he's been used by Mixie to break into the museum, specifically to steal a tape recorder. Mixie tells him that he's not the smartest guy from Krypton, and Clark finally learns the name of the place he came from. Mixie grabs the tape recorder and sends Clark through another portal. Back at the League, Jimmy thinks it's the perfect time for a Flamebird update. Jamila is thrilled to meet the first other Olsen who posts as Flamebird. She shows him one of her videos about a telepathic horse named Comet. Now, Comet was the name of Supergirl's horse. Unlike the other super pets whose origins involve coming from Krypton or exposure to kryptonite, Comet was a dude that could shapeshift into a horse. Our Lois sneaks into the restricted room. The door unlocks for her because it recognizes her as being a Lois. She's able to access a computer and starts reading files on the other Loises. Not only are they more successful than her, but they all have better relationships with their fathers. She finds a file about Superman, but is only accessible through the computers at the League headquarters. She leaves the room when she hears a commotion outside. The League has finished tuning the dimensional frequency and was able to locate Clark and Mixie. Surveillance footage from the museum seems to show the two of them working together. Our Lois states that her Clark would never knowingly help Mixie, to which another Lois replies that she might not know Superman as well as she thinks she does. Clark and Mixie teleport to a new planet, and the League is right behind them. The League starts to arm up. They have these green glowing energy weapons that they say are the only thing that can stop a Clark. The potential danger of Superman means that the Loises won't give the benefit of the doubt to our Clark just because our Lois vouches for him. The League imprisons our Lois. While she might not be League material, she is enough of a Lois to be a problem for them if she's allowed to roam free. The League confront Mixie and shoot at him, but Clark shields him. The weapons have a devastating effect on him, poisoning him and weakening his powers. This is Clark's first exposure to kryptonite radiation in this series. It seems to have the same effect as every other depiction of green kryptonite. With Clark neutralized, the focus now switches to Mixie. He creates an illusion to trick the League while he steals their ship and escapes through another portal. Our Lois is escaped imprisonment and holds Mixie at gunpoint. He explains the tape recorder he stole will help him find the League's headquarters. They arrive and they enter a hallway that's lined with different versions of Lois, including the Ruby Spears and the Superman the Animated Series versions. Mixie gives Lois access to the central computer, and when she opens the Superman file, a strange orb emerges. Mixie finds a locker full of weapons, and on the very top shelf is the derby hat that is typically associated with most versions of this character. He puts on the hat and regains his full Chaos God powers. Clark and the League return and attack Mixie. In the midst of the battle, Lois and Clark have a heart-to-heart moment.
I'm sorry I ruined our date. No, Lois, this is my fault. I wanted to give you a normal first date without any Superman weirdness.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I've seen the files. I'm literally the worst Lois in the multiverse. I'd be better off with anyone else.
Lois, you're the only Lois for me.
I'm annoying.
You're dedicated. I'm weird.
You're amazing. I love going on adventures with you, Clark.
I love your brilliance.
I love your kindness.
I love...
Lois has an idea. Clark attacks Mixie to create a distraction for Lois to steal the hat to depower him so Jimmy can capture him. The three of them are able to escape with the help of Jamila Olsen. She tells the Loises that the damage to the computer systems mean that the location of our Earth is lost. Upon returning home, Jimmy feigns being tired so that he can give Lois and Clark some privacy. Lois is floating as she comes home from her coffee date with Clark when the League's mysterious orb falls out. Lois inspects it and it displays holographic footage of different versions of Superman throughout the multiverse who are turning evil and destroying cities. Mixie shows up, telling Lois that her current personal drama is way more fun than prison. He helps her understand that just like not every version of Lois was the same, not every Superman is good. The orb opens up, and inside is a fragment of green kryptonite. Okay, so for my thoughts, I loved this episode. It took the series in a direction that I never saw coming. I'm really surprised, and my imagination's just running wild with all the possibilities that this opens up. There were tons of Easter eggs in this episode. It's awesome to include the Ruby Spears, the Super Friends, and the Superman the Animated Series as part of this animated multiverse. The show has already introduced a number of elements that we don't typically associate with Superman, like Deathstroke and Task Force X. So not only might we see other versions of Superman like the Red Sun and the Injustice versions, but imagine them bringing in characters like John Constantine or Swamp Thing. This show might actually form the center of some kind of new DC animated multiverse. I think that's a really cool idea. I'm excited about this, and I plan to be all over that next episode as soon as I can. I'm a big Superman fan, so I expected to enjoy this, but I never imagined myself getting this into the show. Anyways, let me know if I missed any references in this show. Otherwise, I'll have the next episode out shortly. Thanks for watching. Bye.